Welcome to week 8 of Secure the Bag. It's your boy A-Dub.
And your boy Striz, aka Mario in the building. What's good, fam?
What's good? It's to me.
Here we go.
Oh, that's what's up. Hopefully that Mario hat will bring you a little bit of luck this week. But we we appreciate y'all slackers out there rocking with us each and every week. If you're here watching live or if you're watching later, don't be afraid to drop your picks in the comments, drop your locks. Let us know how you're feeling about this week's schedule. And then also you can play along, hit the link in our bio or go to saylikeachamp.com and go to the Yahoo link and you can play our Pick'em challenge. Whoever gets the most each week gets a Super Bowl square. Last week, our boy Anthony Wesson won. And so congrats to him. But really, I will flash up our scores for last week, but I don't really want to.
It's all bad, dog.
I will just continue to use that same excuse of there were bye weeks, so there was less games to pick from. You know what I'm saying? But it was rough sledding. So
there was a lot of upsets last week. Well, I guess you can call them upsets. You know what I'm saying? A lot of the underdogs won last week for sure.
Yeah, no, for sure. And it's like I was trying to pick some upsets. The only upsets I picked didn't happen, and then every other upset under the sun happened. So we gonna do like Bad Boys 2. We gonna take that one in a box. You know what I'm saying? We gonna put that in a box with everything else. We gonna throw that in the ocean, and we gonna keep moving. So we're gonna go ahead and jump into our picks for this week. And the cool thing is there's no bye weeks this week, so we got lots of games to pick from. A full slate of action for week 8. And I can't believe it's week 8 already. We're almost to that halfway mark, right? They added an extra game or added an extra week, but we're really close to the halfway mark of the season already, which is pretty wild. I think Strizzy, I'll just let you go ahead and lead us in because you got more bags last week too. We'll talk about that later. So you'll go up first. I'll just announce the games and let's get straight to it.
Get it.
All right, starting today on Thursday Night Football, we got the Tampa Bay Bucks at the Buffalo Bills.
I got the Buffalo Bills. I think it's going to be one of those under games, but I also think it's going to be one of those Bills kind of get back right and kind of blowout games. Honestly, don't know why. I just have a blowout opportunity here. I think Bills in a big win.
I agree with you. I'm going with the Bills as well. They need to bounce back. The Patriots kind of have their number, and they know how to expose people's flaws, especially those division opponents that they're so used to.
Yeah.
But with the Bucks, I feel like they'll get back to where they would be. And the Bucks, like their early season magic, looks like it's just about out. Honestly, NFC South is still a mess. So we'll see what happens there. But moving into the weekend, we got the Battle of New York, the Jets at the Giants, even though they share a stadium. So technically visiting.
Right. Yeah, I got the Jets in this one. I think the defense has been really good. I think it's going to be entirely too good for whoever is quarterbacking for the Giants, whether it be Tyrod Taylor or Daniel Jones.
I'm with you on that one. I got the Jets. Their defense is really good. I think the Giants got their little, morale victory type of win last week, but I don't think it will carry over into this week. I got the Jets.
Yeah.
Pretty comfortably. All right, next up, we got the Jags visiting the Steelers.
Yeah, this game's tricky. The Jaguars have looked really good the last 2 weeks, you know what I mean? And the Steelers just kind of keep finding ways to hang in there. But I'm going with the Jags. I think the Jags are kind of found that second gear, you know what I mean? They've kind of pushed it into – they look like the team they were at the end of last season, so I'm going Jags.
I'm going with the Jags as well. It's hard to doubt the Steelers, and we talked about how bad they look, but they always are going to be around that 500 and have some good performances. Yep. But I just think the Jags will be a little bit too much for them this weekend, so I'm going with the Jags as well.
Yeah.
All right, moving on, we got the Eagles at the Commanders.
I like the Eagles in this one. I think they continue to roll. For whatever reason, the Commanders always play them really well, but I'm still taking the Eagles in this one.
I'm going with the Eagles as well. I feel like their better chance to get them was the last game. I can't believe this is already both games will be done between these two opponents this early in the season. Yeah. But, yeah, I do have the Eagles, and especially after the 49ers troubles, it looks like they're kind of leading as that, like, kind of big, the most fearsome team in the NFC. So I think they want to continue to prove that.
Definitely.
All right. Next up, we got the Rams at the Cowboys.
I like Dallas in this one. It'll be a tricky game, though. You know what I mean? It has potential blowout if Dallas defense can hold them. But at the same time, when you're coming back from a bye week, you never really know if they're going to come out slow, if they're going to come out, rested and ready to go. So I'm taking Dallas to win, though, but I like the Rams for the spread.
Got you. Yeah, I'm going with the Cowboys as well. I think this could end up being a little bit of a shootout, but I feel like the Dallas defense should have the advantage only because like they play like 7 corners and 4 linemen. And I think that the Rams, like with their top running back going down, they're going to try to throw the ball a lot. So it'll be an interesting matchup there. But I'm hoping that the Dallas offense continues what they showed in their last game. So going Cowboys on that one. Next up, an NFC North rivalry, the Vikings at Green Bay.
I like the Vikings in this one. When Justin Jefferson went down, it forces Kirk Cousins to kind of distribute the ball a little bit more to, Hawkinson, the rookie Addison, and then Bourne as well. So I like them in this one, and Green Bay's just really been struggling, especially offensively.
Yeah, I like Minnesota in this one pretty handily, actually, and I think that's going to be on my locks too. We'll talk a little bit more about that, but the Vikings coming off of a big win against the 49ers, I think that they'll continue to roll, even being at Green Bay. I think it's not that big of a deal. So it wasn't what it once was going into Lambeau Field.
No.
All right, we got a tricky one, the Falcons and the Titans.
This one's tricky for me. I'm going to go, honestly, with the Falcons in this one. I think the rookie, Bijan Robinson, he got a lot of heat last week for his just not playing, in fantasy and in the gambling space. So but I'm thinking I'll have a huge back game, and then I'm taking the Falcons in this one.
Got you. I'm taking the Titans at home. I think this is going to be a close one, a little bit of a toss-up, especially because the Titans have quarterback issues as far as their quarterback's health. Mm-hmm. But I just feel like that defense is going to be physical for the Falcons.
Yeah.
But this one could go either way. It's just like a weird matchup. It's not 2 teams you normally see play each other. So
definitely,
it's hard to gauge how that's going to, kind of mesh. But I'm going with the Titans. I'm going against you with that one, the Titans at home, just because they're at home.
Nice.
All right, next up we got the Patriots at the Dolphins.
I still like the Dolphins in this one. Patriots actually played them pretty well the first time they played, I think, and they held Tyreek Hill to like 40 yards in that game or something like that. So I kind of expect them to do that, build off of the big victory last week against the Bills. But I still expect Dolphins to get the dub.
I agree. I think this will be a closer game than you might think, but I still don't trust the Patriots offense enough. Yeah. Big kudos to them, though, for winning against the Bills, not only because they had that big lead at the beginning, but they went down and came back. So I do give them credit for that. If they win this one, it's going to be kind of flashbacks to when they dominated this division, right? Because there was a while where they just didn't lose to anybody in their division. But I still have the Dolphins at home. We'll see. Another weird matchup for me, the Saints at the Colts.
I know this one definitely was a weird one. I've been going back and forth with this one. I think I'm going to go Saints in this one, but it's going to be a stinker. I think it's going to be under all the way.
Yeah, this is another one where I'm going to go with the Colts only because they're at home. I think they're definitely going to have to rely on that ground game. And David Carr is just a little bit, I don't know, like he's just like underwhelming since his move to the Saints. I expected a little bit more. But both of these teams play in a dome, so maybe they'll feel like they're at home. I don't know. We'll see. But that's another one that's kind of a toss-up for me.
Big time. Same here.
Take the under. Texans at Panthers. That's Strizzy's Panthers.
This game's so tricky, man. Like, I want to go with my heart on this one and say Panthers have a chance at getting this, but Texans have actually looked really, really good. I feel like C.J. Stroud has looked like the best quarterback in this draft. So I'm gonna go and get the Panthers a do, and this is where they get their first dub.
Got you. I'm riding with you, man. Let's make it happen. I think Bryce Young has heard a lot about the comparison between him and CJ Stroud. Even the coach mentioning, like, we're talking about years into the process, not weeks. They're worried about the long-term play. But I do feel like Bryce Young might give us his best game and kind of build off where they've been going. Like you said a couple weeks ago, if they only had more Adam Thielens out there, I think they'd be all right. But I think, at home, I'm going for them on this one. I think they'll get their first dub, maybe only dub. We'll see.
Hey, facts. This really might be that one. That's it.
If you're going to do it, you better do it this week. That's what I'm thinking. So I'm going with you. I'm going with the Panthers as well. All right, next up, the Browns at the Seahawks. 2 great defenses head to head.
Seriously, this was tricky too. I know Seahawks are dealing with a couple of injuries to some of their best players. DK missed the game last week. But I think Watson's still out, but they haven't really needed him. You know what I mean? So I'm going to go Seahawks in this one. I like them at home.
Yeah, same here. I'm going to go with the Seahawks, but they're a little bit tricky, right? Because if their defense doesn't create turnovers and create like short fields and things like that, I think that they have a tendency to struggle. But I just feel like the Browns have been making magic, right? Not at full strength, but I think that runs out on the road. Long road trip to Seattle on this one. So I'm going with Seattle at home. The Bengals at the 49ers.
This one's tricky, but I'm actually taking the Bengals. I think San Francisco loses 3 in a row. I think Brock Purdy's in concussion protocol, and then now they've got Sam Darnold taking the reins, I think, this week, most likely, if he doesn't pass concussion protocol. So I'm liking the Bengals in this one.
Yeah, this one is a really tough one for me, too. I'm leaning Bengals. I think it's going to be close, right, either way. But I think that 49ers are starting to come down to earth a little bit, especially without Brock Purdy, only because his processing skills and his decision-making makes that offense that much better. But without their without some of their extra weapons like Debo, that just really seemed to make them a little bit more stagnant last week. And I'm really worried about McCaffrey, right? He went down with that rib injury, but he still played against the Vikings, had heavy usage, and it wasn't enough. I think that they're starting to show their wear a little bit.
I think they should take some time to rest up. You know what I mean? Better. They still have a really good record, and that system will allow them to continue to win games, especially against some of the NFC West opponents. You know what I mean? Too. So I'm with you, man. I think rest up a little bit and come back later.
Yeah, I feel you. So I'm with you, though. I'm going with the Bengals as well. They're trying to show that they're in that upper echelon still after their slow start. So
for sure,
they can definitely score the ball. I do want to welcome Unc and Pops to the show real quick. Thank you guys both for following along and making your picks as well. They both had the Texans. Against your Panthers, but I'm hoping they're wrong, man. I'm hoping they can get on the board. And Pops, he's got the 49ers in this one, though. He's the only one going with the 49ers on that one, but we'll see. It's going to be a very, very close game.
Yeah, they're back in Cali. Who knows?
Yeah, that might help a little bit. All right. One I don't think will be a close game. We got the Chiefs at the Broncos.
Yeah, Kansas City, and likes to remind us every Tuesday, they're top 6 right now, both offense and defense. You know what I'm saying? So, normally I'd say, maybe Broncos have a chance to score some points or whatever, but with the Kansas City defense playing so well, I don't think so. I think it's gonna be a blowout, Kansas City all the way.
Yeah, I'm with you too. I feel like that's the underrated element of the Chiefs this year, right? It lets their offense, have slow starts or whatever. Not that their offense isn't great, because like you said, they're top 6 in both, and they're top 6 in special teams as well. So all around great team, playing great. Broncos just don't have it this year. Last year, they just don't have enough. So I'm definitely going with the Chiefs in this one.
I heard like everybody on the Broncos is up for grabs. They're talking about Sutton. They're talking about the other wide receiver. They're talking about Patrick Surtain's also up for trade too. I was like, they're trying to get rid of everybody.
Yeah, I think that they're going to be big time sellers right now. But it's like, what does that mean for Sean Payton? Because he just went there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I didn't think he wanted a rebuild. He thought he could make it better with what they had. But
definitely.
All right, another one on the West Coast. We got the Ravens at the Cardinals in the Battle of the Birds.
Yeah, man. I think Lamar Jackson still continues his dominance over NFC teams this weekend. I think it's another blowout. I think Ravens, murk the Cardinals, and I'm starting my Lamar for MVP campaign, man. He's a beast.
He's doing his thing, and like you said, reigns over the NFC. If that's what they did to the Lions, which is an up-and-coming team right now and one of the top 5 in the NFC, what are they going to do to the Cardinals there? So, yeah, I've definitely got Baltimore, and I think that they're going to travel really well, too, to the game here. So I think they'll feel comfortable. But I like that Lamar for MVP campaign. I think it might be right about time. All right, moving into Sunday Night Football. We've got an interesting matchup, the Bears at the Chargers.
I keep feeling like the Bears are trying to tank, but they every time I say that, they end up winning. You know what I'm saying? But they've been playing really tough. You know what I mean? I think I'm going Chargers on this one, though. They got to get a win. They've been struggling the last couple of weeks. Yeah,
I'm going with the Chargers as well. I feel like that their offense is still kind of coming together, but they got held down by 2 good defenses in a row with the Cowboys and the Chiefs. Yep. I feel like they might break out a little bit against a Bears team that normally has good defenses, but just not this year. And then the Bears, I think that they're still starting their rookie, right? So
I think so.
It's going to be too much. I think it's too tall of a task. I think the Chargers get right. But in LA, that is going to be an interesting split to see how the audience is. I think that the crowd is going to be heavily Bears too, you know?
Yeah.
So I think always those LA games, that SoFi Stadium ends up getting packed out by the away team. So,
right.
But that's what's up. So that's our Sunday night capper. Unk's going with the Bears on that one, though. He's the only one on their bandwagon on that one. But that will definitely be interesting. Next up, we got Monday Night Football. It's a little bit out of order, my bad, but we got the Raiders at the Lions.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, man, I'm thinking Lions in this one, they bounced back big. You know, they got totally embarrassed by the Ravens last week, so they're trying to bounce back. And the Raiders right now, they're kind of down on themselves right now with the amount of losing that's been going on lately. But I think they lose another one.
I agree. Long trip for them. Detroit's trying to bounce back, has an extra day to lick their wounds. So I really think that that the Lions will get it done in Monday Night Football. But it's interesting to see this primetime matchup, right? Where it's like in 2023, this ain't really a primetime matchup, but like in the 90s and the 80s, you know what I'm saying? Like this would have been like such a big top billing matchup. Now it's like, it's not so great, you know?
For sure. Raiders been on hard times for a little while, that's for sure.
Yeah. But we'll see if they start to get to flexing some of these games. I think that's going to start pretty soon.
Yeah.
I wonder if this was one that they would have flexed if they could have. So,
yeah.
All right. So that's our full slate, 16 games for the money line side. Now we're going to move into against the spread, but we always like to remind everyone that this is not actual betting advice. It's just our thoughts, opinions, musings on the games. So the money line is just picking who will win the game. The spread is actually picking with that adjusted score. So if the favorite team is a -2.5, that means they have to win by 3 in order for your bet to cash. So we're going to bring you 3 locks and go after some bags. Last week, Strizzy, you hit with the Ravens, so great job there. Let's talk about our picks for this week.
Yeah, man. Like I said earlier, Panthers game. You know, we got the first and second overall pick in this year's draft, and I just feel like even if we lose, we got to keep it close. We're coming off a bye week. You know, offensive coordinators taking over the reins for the play calling. And I've been hearing a lot of good things from the players, but they got to say those good things, right? But I'm just literally hoping that like this is a game where we can at least turn some things around, get something going. People are going to be talking about Bryce versus Stroud for a really long time. I mean, so let's make it a good one.
Yeah, I feel you.
Next one's this tonight game. Like I said, I think it's a blowout. I think Bills get back right. I think they kind of take it to the Bucks tonight. And pretty much kind of pound them down a little bit.
I feel you on that one. I think that they want to get that taste out of their mouth from last week.
Definitely, got to take it out on somebody. And then this one too. So like kind of like you were mentioning, this could be kind of like a shootout game. You talked about the Cowboys playing with kind of so many corners and safeties, but I feel like they play with that many corners and safeties because they're just not that good. You know what I mean? And the Rams right now, their receiving core has been probably the best in the league, honestly. You're looking at Puka and Kupp coming back, and Atwell as well playing out of his mind. So I feel like that's going to keep it close, like you said, a possible shootout. But I don't think they're going to win this game. I think Dallas wins this game, but I think they kind of keep it at least within a touchdown. I think they keep it 6.5 is cool.
I feel you. All right. Shout out to our brother Marcus. He's busy this week, and you know how we are, right? We appreciate everybody being so flexible with us because we got things going on, juggling lots of different things between multiple schedules, but we're always going to be here for you every week, one way or another. So we appreciate you rocking with us. And Marcus was able to send in his locks, even though he's not here to represent them live. So we're going to go with this one. We're just going to report him out for him. He's got the Dolphins in a big one over the Patriots. He's feeling like they'll bounce back pretty well and score a little bit too much for New England. He's got the Jets in the battle of the Giants, which we agree with this, right? The battle of New York, the Jets, and only being a 3-point spread, they should be able to handle that pretty well. He also has the Eagles over the Commanders by 7, which that one is I like that one too. I just feel like that could end up being a push. It could end up being exactly 7, but I think the Eagles are ready to kind of to beat down the Commanders. The Commanders have been I don't want to say like overperforming because they haven't really been too good, but still, like I think that they're showing kind of what they are. So
yeah, we're looking at Coach Rivera's possibly not making it to the end of the season already. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, there's only so much motivating. He's a great guy, but
yeah,
that only goes so far. So, all right, moving on to my locks. I'm going with the Vikings in this one against Green Bay. I think 1.5, it should be good. The way they played on Monday night, if they can continue that and be physical and then, hit those receivers, I think that they'll do well. I think they should be able to beat Green Bay at least by 3 or more. So I'm going with that one. The Titans one is a tough one for me, right? But they're +3 at home.
That's good money.
I just think for the value on that bet, I'm liking the Titans, but that's going to be an interesting matchup with the Falcons. It could come down to the wire there. And then I'm going with the Bengals as well. We talked about this one, Bengals 49ers. I just think it's tough to see a team as good as the 49ers lose 3 in a row. Mm-hmm. But with the Bengals coming in kind of prime and kind of on the ascension a little bit, I'm going with them, and I do think it'll be close, right? Even if they don't win, I think it'll be a very close game down to the wire type of thing. Even like the 49ers with the Vikings, right? They had a chance to win that game late by a couple. I feel like that's the type of games that we're going to see the 49ers scrapping and winning until they can get healthy again. So I am going with the Bengals in that one.
I like those, especially the Titans one. Titans one for sure.
All right, so we'll see. Hopefully, we'll each pick up some bags. I like how all of us are spread out differently, right? So we don't have any competing ones. So that means we can all win. That's what's up. Yeah. And then lastly, you just go over our records for transparency's sake. And last week was really rough. Last week we were only a couple apart. But we did I did the math on here, and I changed it up to make it just wins and losses instead of like I think before I had like the total games. You know what I'm saying, the percentage or whatever. So. This makes it a little bit easier, I think, but we're doing good. As long as we have more wins than losses, I feel good on the money line side. On the bag side, it's been a little bit rough. We're really aiming for that 50%. So hopefully we can bounce back this week and get it popping again on the lock side. So
looking for that first 3-0 week. You know what I'm saying? Let's get it.
Exactly. We need that first triple lock. So so that's what it is. I appreciate you guys rocking with us as always. Unc Pops, thank you for dropping your comments. Those of you guys that are playing later, we appreciate you dropping yours in the comment section. And again, don't forget to put your picks on Yahoo so you can compete with us for Super Bowl squares. Real quick before we go, any thoughts on NBA action?
Oh man, so disappointed in AD this past Tuesday, man. You know what I mean? Like scoreless in the second half, only 1 rebound in the first half. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like if this team's going to be successful, AD has to go back to what he was in the playoffs, right? Like, be defensive-minded, get in the paint. Don't worry about getting hurt. When you worry about it, that's when it happens. You know what I'm saying? So, not saying that he was worried about it Tuesday, but I just would have loved to have seen him on the boards a little bit more, especially, and then a little bit more aggressive in the second half. So, let's see how he does against the Phoenix Suns tonight. But like I said, man, it's not his team, but he got to be the best one on the team. You know what I'm saying? So, we'll see how he goes.
Yeah, and I agree with you. He's got to play better if we're going to start to believe all that noise about LeBron being like, oh, he's the future of the Lakers, and the Lakers organization saying, like, we're buying into him, investing in him. We got to go as far as he'll take us. Well, that was not far enough on the other night. Again, it's only the first game of the year, but I agree with you definitely on that. Yeah. I expected him to see him come out a little bit more fired up. Yeah. We'll see how they play against the Suns tonight, but the Suns already are going to be missing Beal and Booker. Yeah. Only the second game of their short, young season. 2 of their top 3 guys out, so we'll see how that plays out. Wemby's debut last night was pretty cool. You know, he got aggressive, got into foul trouble, and that sucks. I think that's going to be the main thing that can really stop him from impacting games. Yeah. And then one other interesting thing, Harden was getting on the plane for their game today against the Bucks. He went to go get on the plane, and the security basically told him, like, dude, you're not welcome. The team has basically, like, left them behind on their initial 2-game road trip so that he can continue to work out. So that's their little punishment that they got him on.
I love it. Honestly, like, I loved it, man. They put the hand on the chest and was like, no, where you going, bro? Like, I love it to death. They'll say, you don't want to show up, you don't want to be around the team, like, then don't come around when it's time to play these games. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know if he misses any money because it was their decision for him not to go, but, you know, hopefully, you know, if he doesn't want to be around, like, he's not getting paid. You know what I'm saying? Like, I like the decision.
I kind of like it too. We had talked about it the other day. Like, you think you're just going to show up like nothing, like everything's cool. Yeah. And I'm kind of glad that they took that stance. But it also tells me like that they're not really worried about reconciling the relationship like at that level. So maybe he is traded sooner than later, or maybe he sits out, he eats his humble pie, and he comes back after a couple of games. But we'll continue to watch that situation for sure.
For sure, most definitely.
All right, that's what it is. So next Tuesday is episode 218 of The Big Show. I will hope to see you all there. We will be back also with the winner of this week's Slack Pick'em, and then also the full breakdown of the NFL, and then what else we've noticed on the first week of the NBA. Pop says freaking trade him instead of playing games. I'm down with that too. Pops, like, especially if they're going to be like, all right, you can't come, then just get him up out of there. But I know the Clippers are kind of stalled talks, so
let Maxey do his thing. That's what I'm saying. Like I feel like Harden being there has hindered him a little bit. Like he had a phenomenal season the year prior to James getting there. Then he's kind of been in the backseat a little bit. But let Maxey come in and do his thing, man.
I feel that. Send Harden to Detroit. Like, who cares?
Facts.
Just get him up out of there. But but we'll definitely continue to monitor that situation. We will see you guys next time. But for now, that was week 8 NFL picks. Week 8, secure the bag. It's your boy A-Dub.
It's me.